Hey, this is Schuyler from themixingprocess.com, and today we're going to go all the way back to the basics. We're going to talk about one of the three pieces in the overall audio production process as a whole. There are three primary parts to this. We've got recording, and then mixing, and then mastering. And today we're going to talk about what mixing is. Recording is pretty easy to understand. Most people kind of understand what goes into that. We record things on a daily basis. But what people don't understand is the mixing and mastering steps of the audio production process. I remember one time I had come off the road for the summer and I had been working on mixing some new music. And I had somebody ask me what I was working on, and I told them I'm mixing some new projects, and they really kind of looked at me sideways. They had no idea what that actually meant. And so I tried to explain to them, well, think of like a photographer. They take a picture and then they upload it to their computer and they have to edit that photo. They can change coloring and contrast and edit and cut stuff out of it. They can do all kinds of things to that photo. And it's basically the same with audio. And even after I explained this, they really didn't understand what I was talking about, kind of how that would work. How do you edit these different things in audio? And it occurred to me that this whole world is something that a lot of people don't really have much exposure to. They don't understand what would go into it. So I wanted to make a video kind of explaining just the very basics of what mixing audio even means, so that somebody can kind of understand what's going on in that process. So just to give you a really basic definition or idea, mixing is the process of balancing the volume, the frequencies, the dynamics, and then the spatial orientation of each input that you're listening to in the end product. So basically what happens is during a recording session, each individual input is recorded on its own and then has its own track. So then it's imported into this big session in mixing with all these tracks in it from the recording process. And we've got a bunch of different tools that we can use to edit these individual tracks. So we can, like I just kind of spelled out, we can edit the volume of each individual track. We can go into those sounds and adjust the frequencies, the specific frequencies of that track. We can either make some quieter or louder, and that really changes the tone and how that track fits into all the other tracks. We can also adjust the dynamics. If we've got a track that's really loud and really quiet in different parts of the song, we can actually reduce that dynamic range and make it so that fits better in with all those other tracks. And lastly, we can also adjust the spatial orientation. So if you've ever noticed, sometimes when you're listening to a song, you hear different instruments come in on the left or on the right or anywhere in between. Well, that's part of the mixing process, is kind of spreading those inputs out so it kind of sounds more natural and like a blend of all those things coming together. So we can also use different effects on the track. So the most common one being reverb. We can take a reverb plugin and we can apply it to different tracks and make it sound like that instrument or input is in a big room or something like that. And that just adds different sound to the project as a whole. And the last part of the mixing process is we take all those tracks after they've been mixed and balanced together and we render it down to a single audio file. And that file is the one that actually goes on to the final stage of the audio process called mastering. And we'll deal with that in another video and kind of walk through what mastering is. But that's just kind of a basic picture of what happens in the mixing process. We take all of these recorded tracks, we blend them together, we mix stuff together, and then it gets rendered down into a single track that goes on to the final phase of the production process. So there you go. Now you kind of know what mixing is, and next time you see somebody behind a console or mixing in a DAW, you can understand kind of the basics of what they're doing. So I hope this all made sense to you. If you are new to this channel and you're trying to learn the basics of mixing audio, I have a free gift for you on my website called the 7-Step Mix. And in this guide, it'll walk you through the 7 steps that I take in every single mix. It'll give you a great systematic, orderly process to your mix to get you good, consistent, positive results in your work. So if that sounds like it'd be something that would help you, you can go check it out for free on my website, themixingprocess.com. I think it'll really help you out in your journey. And as always, if you have any questions for me about this topic or anything audio related, you can contact me directly on my website, or you can write it in the comments below. I'd love to have a conversation with you about what you're working through and trying to learn as an audio engineer. But until then, go be great at what you do and call me if you need help. Thanks for watching.